Okay, yeah, I've been submitting stuff to film festivals. I've been writing for a bit longer, and I wanted to talk about my experience of that, because if you've never done either of those things, it's really weird. And if you don't know what it means, you can get discouraged. And I don't want that. So I thought I would tell you about what I've done, and I want to know your thoughts as well. So why might we send films to film festivals? Any answer, fine.
To get a broader audience?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. Both very good reasons. Yes, yeah. Totally correct, yeah. Anyone else? Stepping stone to the mainstream? Go for it. Did you say networking or something, was it? Yes, exactly. Very good. Fantastic answers, all great answers. True. So I'm going to talk about that and how to do it. First, I wanted to introduce you to my creative bio, and then I wanted to break down what it actually means, because it sounds very impressive, but it's a lot of work to make, and it's a lot of refreshing your inbox and not seeing anything for a very long time, and that's fine. That's part of the process. It doesn't mean you've done anything wrong, and that's kind of my point this evening. Leo Robertson's a Scottish process engineer. Not everyone puts their main profession in their bio, and I don't like that, because that's what I do every day. I feel like you can know that about me. A lot of people find that pretty impressive, but not in the writing world. They don't know what the hell it is, actually. Fine. Process engineer, writer, and filmmaker, currently living in Stavanger, Norway. His latest short story collection, Unfortunates, out with Unnerving, collects his latest and best work, including stories previously published by Year's Best Hardcore Horror and Flame Tree Publishing. His horror feature film Burnt Portraits premiered at the Dead Northern Horror Film Festival in York, UK, earlier this year. All true, all like greatest hits stuff that's happened. Now here's the behind the scenes stuff behind that paragraph that you don't actually know. How long it took to make and what it means. So, yeah, process engineer, I think this is important. Pays the bills, I mean, that's pretty important. Latest short story collection, Unfortunates, published with Unnerving. Took me 5 years to write, and there were 9 stories in it. I think 4 of them were published and 5 of them weren't. I was sending them all out. Nobody wanted to publish the other 5, but they're great stories. I don't know why. Collects his latest and best work, including stories previously published by Year's Best Hardcore Horror. Yeah, that was 2 years ago. Flame Tree Publishing, that was 3 years ago. I get like 3 or 4 acceptances a year, I think. And I check my email 365 days of the year, so that's a lot of nothing. His horror feature film Burnt Portraits premiered at the Dead Northern Film Festival in York, UK earlier this year. Great, fantastic. 24 didn't want it. 2 others did want it, and I've not mentioned them, and I will mention them later, because that also is, to me, not very meaningful. Still waiting to hear back from 25 of them. Yarla, come on in. You're in the right place. There's just loads of people today for some reason. Isn't that cool? Yeah. In fact, so I went to this festival, and I saw my film on the big screen, and then I talked to one of the other filmmakers who, they had a world premiere. It means it was the first place that had accepted their film and everything, and he was like, we were both like, is this festival delusional? Because nobody else wanted our films. Like, are these guys wrong? Oh, yes, that was the last one. I used this thing, Geotrope, to submit my short stories. And Geotrope keeps track of where you sent your stories and who accepted them and who didn't. So when I log into Geotrope, it tells me my acceptance ratio is 3.7%. So of all the stuff I send out, 3.7% gets accepted, the rest gets a rejection. 5% of those are nice rejections. 95% are, dear writer, we just copy paste and press this, and you know, did we even read your story? You don't know. But 3.7%, congratulations. Your acceptance ratio is higher than the average for members who have submitted to the same publishers and agents. So 3.7%, guys. That's pretty cool. I put a little question at the end. Does anyone want to question my status as a filmmaker or writer? You're welcome to challenge that. I'll point out why later. So for writing, I use Geotrope. It costs you $50 a year, but it will remember where you sent everything. It will suggest places to send your things. And it'll tell you how likely to get in, because it keeps track of everyone's records. It'll say, okay, they accept like 1% of the stuff sent to them.
What kind of publications is Geotrope for? Is it for like books specifically, or
good question. It is for I use it for short stories mostly. You can search by genre, so like science fiction, fantasy, horror, romance. There's a large number of romance publishers on there. You can send books, and now they have agents as well, so you can find agents who are looking for a thing you've written of a specific word length. So that's cool. There's this other one called the Submission Grinder, which I'm told does the same thing, and this one is free. So you can also try the Submission Grinder as well if you want straight away, and it doesn't cost you anything. Geotrope for $50 a year, I think it's worth it, because when I first started using it a few years ago, my only goal was get back that $50 by getting something accepted, and that happened like 3 weeks later. I don't think I got payment for anything else that year, but 3 weeks afterwards, got my money back, so that's cool. When I send stuff out, here's what I want from the places that I send it to. So if I send out a piece of writing, I like the theme. I sent one out today, and it was weird. It was almost like I'd written a story for it. It was very cool. So I have something appropriate in terms of genre and word count. You just always read the guidelines. It will say between 2,000 and 5,000 words. This type of genre, no horrible violence in it, sometimes they say. So follow the guidelines always. Seems cool. Bonus, I've heard of the publisher. They're very prestigious. I can find their books in local bookshops, and they nominate for awards. Those are nice things you might want. Friend told me the publisher is a meanie. That happens a few times. There's some really mean people publishing books out there. They're not publishing mine. And weird contract stuff. Sometimes you see this on Twitter, like if you even submit your story to us, we own the copyright for all the ideas in it, even if we don't accept your story. Don't send it to them. But that's rare, and that kind of stuff gets flagged up if you're in the writing community, like some sort of Discord server or a Twitter or something. You will spot this early, and everyone will go nuts about it. It's a pretty good system. Filmmaking musts. So I came up with criteria as I was submitting to film festivals, and I learned that it has to be an actual event, because you can go onto Film Freeway, and it will say, this is a monthly online film festival, and we nominate for awards every month. And they will have, I'll explain more about this later, but they can have maybe 20 different categories of best, and weird submission fees for submitting. And basically, they just want you to do it so that they can give as many awards as possible to as many people as possible. You don't even know if they watched your film. And for some reason, that's on Film Freeway. I think they're trying to crack down on it, but I didn't know that when I started using the website. So yeah, I want to, if I go onto Film Freeway on the page, I want to see, where is this event taking place? What is the date? Do you have photos of the previous one you did where there are actual people hanging out? Or in the case of those online film festivals, is it like a bunch of people just holding certificates that you sent them in the mail that they took on their phone from their home? It's a real shame. It's not a lot of fun, I don't think. So bonus, they're prestigious. They nominate for awards. They've been running for some years. I've heard of the films they previously premiered. This is supposed to say no, not bonus. Monthly online festival. How do I know you even watched it? Or weird scam vibes, and I will go on to that. No. So, yeah, I've been sending films out everywhere, and then I've redacted the name of this person because I didn't investigate it fully, but it just all seemed very weird to me. This is the type of email that you can get. Guten Tag, Mr. Robertson. We have fallen in love with your film work here in Berlin. The Truthnet Apocalypse looks fantastic. Has it competed in Berlin? Are you familiar with us? Can I talk to you? Blah, blah, blah. Berlin wants you. Okay. So, what? Dear whatever your name is, thank you for your enthusiastic email, and cool that you like my film, The Truthnet Apocalypse. How did you see it? Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Nowhere here does he answer where he saw it. Because he didn't. He didn't see it. I feel like Morpheus in the Matrix offering the choice of a blue or red pill. What's going on here? There's this great line from a book, The Gift of Fear by Gavin de Becker, I think it is. He says, when somebody is being charming, tell yourself, I am being charmed, and then ask why. The reason why is that the submission fees are 800 NOK. What does he want to do? He wants to give me any award. I can even tell him which one I want, and then they'll do it specially for me. And here's like, I'm excited to work tirelessly in record timing to help boost the Truthnet Apocalypse and new films on IMDb. I thought you wanted me to submit it to you. Now I'm paying for you to do this work. Like, shut it down. But
600 if I'll make a certificate for you.
Cool, the Yarla International Film Festival. It's monthly, it nominates for awards. There's lots of people at that. It's a whole business. But hey, like 3.7%. I mean, there's a lot of people out there who are like, my God, somebody wants my film. It's very easy for me to see people getting flattered by this kind of thing and going, yeah, sure, I'll send you my film. And getting an award for doing so, that who knows if they even watched it. So, hooray. Truthnet Apocalypse is one of our films that we made before the one that got into the festival. And these are its stats on Film Freeway. 13 undecided, still waiting. 25 didn't want it. 2 selected. 1 award winner, 1 semi-finalist. But the reason I didn't tell anyone this, because I haven't told anyone that this has gotten anything, is because I kind of believe this is nonsense. I don't know if anyone watched it. And when it says selected, it's like, for what? So you can tell me you selected it? So that's because this is the first film I sent out. I didn't know any of this. And that's why I'm telling it to you now, is so you look for these things and you don't give these people your money, because it's a waste of time. But Film Freeway is the way you do it. And basically you create a free profile, you upload your film, and then you just, almost everywhere charges a submission fee, but then you can send it everywhere at once, and they just get access to your file and they will watch it in their own time and so on. That's awesome. I want to show you this from a documentary that's in, from 2015. This is on a channel called D4 Darius, which I really recommend. It's how I learned everything I know about filmmaking, really. And he has his first feature film that you can watch for free on YouTube, and he has a film about how he made it and how he distributed it and how he went to festivals and how he promoted it and everything. So the full chain from making to distributing and everything. So I want to play you a clip from that, because this is from 2015, and this explains how you used to have to send things out. So you used to not only have to pay for submissions, but then to send it off in the mail, and then he gets news that his DVDs aren't working, they're not playing, and so on. So I'm glad that we live in the era of Film Freeway where you don't need to, you know that the festival you submitted to has your film straight away as soon as you press click. And that's great, and it's the same quality as you made it and everything. So that's good news. It's nice to be doing it now. So yeah, it's all very daunting, these kind of statistics. 20 slots and 3,000 competing films. That's the world's most popular film festival. You don't need to get in there. You might not. It's fine. It's just to say, hey, just one person needs to say yes. I sent a novel off to Tor Nightfire. Tor is the world's biggest speculative fiction publisher. Nightfire is their new horror imprint. And I sent that off to them 132 days ago. If you want to send it to them, you can send it to somebody else, but they recommend that you don't. So that's 132 days with no news. It's in queue position 411. It used to be in queue position 440. So 40 books they've read in 132 days. They'll get back to me in 1,300 days at that rate. In the meantime, I'm not allowed to send it to anyone else. And that submission window to get your book in was open for 2 weeks. And I think they told everyone 2 weeks before they opened it, because they try and limit how many people they get in. It's nuts. Hey, I think it's a good book. It's like a free lottery ticket. You don't need to pay for manuscript submission. You need to pay for film festival submissions, but books for some reason no. So why not? You know, I'm working on other stuff. They can take their time with it. Say, just one person needs to say yes. Doesn't need to be them. Probably won't be them. I just want to know I gave it my best shot, really. I don't mind if I don't get into Sundance ever. Probably won't. I don't mind if Nightfire doesn't pick this up. I want to know that like I gave myself the best opportunities. I think that's the healthiest way to think of this. At these percentages, I'll probably get our films in somewhere, I said. So if my acceptance rate is 3.7% and I have I've heard back from 50 film festivals. I'm to hear back from another 50. that probably means my 3 films will get in 1 festival each. It's cool, then they've got an audience, right? Then I can get a distributor or something, I don't know. Not everyone needs to say yes, and they're not gonna. And when they say no, they're not saying you did a bad job, and that's the weird thing about rejection that people don't understand. It's really difficult not to take personally. Everyone does. Like I say, when I went to this festival where our film was on, and the other guy agreed with me when we joked that maybe this festival was delusional that it let us in because so many had already said no. But it doesn't mean that. It just feels like it does, you know? Yeah, these outlets are not required to assist you in any respect. You may be a genius, that's fine. They don't need to recognize it. It's not their job. And they're not stopping you either. I don't understand this. Some people get rejected and they're like, oh, I'll show them. We're gonna show them. They weren't showing you anything. Like, just they're not stopping you. They're just not helping you. Like I say, they're not preventing you from sending it to any of the other thousands of people who might help you out. Film Freeway, there's so many listings, there's so many publishers. You know, for example, the weird thing about filmmaking for me, like I started as a writer and I was writing for a very long time. And I was writing stories and I would send them to the most exclusive outlets and they would say nothing. And then you would feel like you weren't doing anything. But then when you do filmmaking, suddenly, look, there's all these people who've showed up. And that's really valuable. At the same time, Sundance might be sending me form rejections. That doesn't mean I did nothing. It means that, you know, locally you can be of huge importance first and then you can build up from there. Any single one publisher is just not able to recognize all the many clever people on the planet. It's just not going to happen. But it's not your fault. You didn't do anything wrong. Don't obsess over the few people who didn't help. They're probably very sad as well. You know, we got a festival rejection from Amsterdam, and Sam studies in the Netherlands, and they invited us to the festival. I said, then go. They don't have to invite you, go. And if you go, maybe somebody will go, hey Sam, I remember from that film, The Truthnet Apocalypse. We really liked it. We just couldn't put it in our program, you know? But they don't have time to say that to 900 people. So they don't, but they might still like what you did, even if they form reject you, you know? My experience at film festival, not beating yourself up, having worth you didn't expect. So there was an award winner at this festival, and there were so many great films, and these guys were the winners. And they won a little trophy in front of everyone. We all clapped. And as soon as they left, I heard one of the leaders just going, God, the color grading in that 4th shot was terrible. We need to go home. We need to revise it and everything. I don't really know what my point is here, other than that, you know, attitude. Okay, attitude is everything. That's my point. I've already written it down. Cheers, Leo. You got to celebrate everything, you know. If this is your first time here, you got to celebrate that. It's very brave to come here if you're interested in filmmaking. Like, it's the start of a journey. That's a huge step. You have to celebrate every stage. You can't beat yourself up because you can win an award and be really mad about it if you want. But maybe, I don't see the point in doing that, so I wouldn't do that. I found that very weird. Having worth you didn't expect. We got great compliments for the writing of our film. It was by no means the prettiest film there. There were people who know more about lights, and they were using cameras that weren't even as good as ours, but they knew how to use them better than we did. And they'd rented fancy lenses and everything, and their films looked beautiful. Yeah, I go on about attitude a lot. I think it's really important. I think it's the most important part of the arts, really. So I've been told ever since I studied chemical engineering that I don't look like a process engineer, whatever that means. I've since met process engineers. I kind of know what they mean, but I am one, so what are you talking about? I didn't feel like one then, and I still don't now, and I've been at my job 8 years. When I started, they were like, Leo, yeah, so you're going to go there, you're going to like see how the simulation works and everything, and I was like, all right, fine, I'll do that tomorrow, and then you're going to fire me, right? I mean, why the hell am I here? You're all so clever. I don't understand why I'm here. And then even I receive emails this morning, and every time I open them, I'm just like, Michael, please don't ask me a question I don't know. Don't bring this all crumbling down. Even though I've been doing this job 8 years, I'm like, why are you asking me? And then I'm like, oh wait, I've got 8 years of experience. I might actually know something, but I don't even feel like confident talking to all of you right now, to be honest. I feel a bit silly. I can't believe I set up a filmmaking club. I have no qualifications. What am I doing? But obviously there's some value in it. I just don't always feel like there is. Why does this matter? Yeah, because some people come to the filmmaking club and they're like, oh, I don't really think of myself as this, I don't really think of myself as that, and I want to encourage you to try as many different things as possible because I don't really care what you think of yourself of, because I do many things I don't think of myself of, and it's not a strong indicator of anything. You know, it's not evidence of anything. So I don't hear this and go, oh, okay, cool, yeah, don't do it then. And like I said, you're welcome to question whether or not I am a writer or a filmmaker. But I have published books and I have films and festivals, so you're probably wrong. But I don't know if you could pinpoint the day that I could call myself a filmmaker or writer, so you might as well just call yourself one now, and then you'll be one eventually if you keep showing up. I know so many people who just strive for this one label that they get to call themselves, like, finally I feel like I'm a writer after 10 years. Well, that was a waste of time, wasn't it? Could have just felt like one straight away. Yes, you're scared and it feels overwhelming. Correct, welcome to the arts. That's normal. That's a normal feeling. It's not an indication that anything's going wrong. Yeah. I ramble on a lot, it's just the same point really. People always say, oh, okay, so filmmakers, is that what you really want to do? And I'm like, I think I really did it. I think I really made a film, so I don't know what you mean. I think you mean, do I want this to be my profession? Do I want to do this for a living? Do I want to rely on waiting 130 days to become position 450 to get a no 2 years later? Not really. Not really. Because then, like, they pay me a monthly salary at the thing I actually do. Do I want this for money? No. Do I want to keep doing it? Yes. But I don't know. What's my point? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, here's some quotes to sum up. I really like this one. These first two are by James Baldwin. If you're going to be a writer, there's nothing I can say to stop you. If you're not going to be a writer, nothing I can say will help you. What you really need at the beginning is someone to let you know that the effort is real. I don't really feel like I can inspire anyone to want to do filmmaking. I think that you coming here is evidence enough that you think there's some value in it. And I think there's some value in it too. I agree, so let's do it. I can't provide that value. And if you thought, you know, that's a lot of rejection, I don't feel like doing it, I would understand that as well, you know. Yeah, this one as well. Not the Illuminati, the Jewish banking conspiracy, or the grey alien theory. The truth is farmer fighting. Nobody's in control. The world is rudderless. These people on the other side who are accepting or rejecting are like us. They're just like us here. They have tastes. They have bad days. They're just people. You don't want to hand these strangers your sense of self-worth or sense of accomplishment. Hold on to that for yourself and give that to yourself. Stuff is done by people who do stuff. Lee Werks Robertson, that's me, award-winning writer and filmmaker. Proven, yeah. Yeah. Cheers.